Lean on me. Lean on me.
Hello, welcome back. So, after almost 10 years of using my trusty old wallet here, it finally decided to give up. The little inside snap button thing decided to fall off, and I actually lost the second part to this, so there's just no way I'd be able to repair this, except if I just rip out all the metal button things completely and put in new ones, which I might try in the end. But overall, it's just old, and I think it's finally time to just make a completely new, improved version of this. So yeah, I'm gonna start out with a plan and sketching everything out. Then I'm gonna have to decide which fabric I want to use, which is probably going to be very hard because I've got a ton of fabric and a lot of options, and I'm very indecisive. So we're just gonna have to see how it goes, and let's just start. It's time to choose some fabric.
Hey, you Oxen, turn it up.
I'm just a bit too tired to sew everything today, so see you tomorrow. Well, so my first prototype unfortunately didn't make much sense at all, and also wasn't really that easy to sew either, so I had to do some more research and come up with a new plan.
Lean on me. Lean on me.
Well, yesterday I basically spent the whole day making 4 prototypes, doing all the math and testing out patterns, correcting them and all that stuff. The first initial process did not work out, so I had to change up my plan, but that's fine. I also did a little bit of research because I was kind of not really getting where I wanted it to be. So I found this video which helped me a lot in making the whole thing a bit of an easier project than I thought it was going to be. Make sure to check it out as well. My version is still a bit different, and I'm shortly going to show you how to make the final version of this wallet. But first I want to screen print some of my fabric because that's just too boring. And my initial plan of using this like star-like fabric did not work out because it is too stretchy, and I think it makes it really hard to sew without wrinkles and a few beauty issues. I'm deciding to only use non-stretchy fabrics for this, so let's just print some stuff and we'll see. Don't you all want to eat this so bad? Looks so tasty. I'm switching to voiceover here because that is just way easier for me, so let's go. For the wallet you will need 2 pieces of fabric. I chose 2 different ones. Then you'll need a zipper, some thread, some pins, and I will be using the template I made, also using some bundle web or fleece line and snap buttons. We're starting off with cutting out the fabric. Easiest way is to put them together insides out and marking your fabric around the template with a pen or some chalk, and then you can pin it together and cut them out both at the same time. If you don't want the little zipper coin pouch, you can skip the next step, but if you want to add it, you're gonna have to mark where it's gonna go on the fabric that you want showing on the outside. You will mark it like I'm doing here, and then you have to cut it out like this. 1 straight cut on the line in the middle, but only to the corners of the little triangles. Then you're gonna cut along the sides of the triangles to be able to flip it up like this, and then you're gonna iron it so it stays in place nicely. It should look like this, and then we can already attach the zipper. The zipper that I chose was a little bit too long, so I marked it on the length that I needed it to be, and then I shortened it by just sewing over it, basically. I'm using new, sharp jeans needles for this project because I'm going to be sewing through a lot of layers. Jeans ones just do it the best, and I'm also sewing jeans fabric, so yeah. I'm sewing over the zipper so the edges won't fray, and then you can pin the zipper in place, but I didn't because I didn't think it was that necessary. I don't own a specific zipper sewing foot, so I gotta use the normal one with the setting set to the left. In total, I sew around everything 4 times because I'm paranoid that something will break and not hold up in the long run, but yeah. Then I burned the ends of the threads so they are prettier, and all the next few things will be easier to sew as well. Now it's finally time to sew the 2 pieces of fabric together. I'm now pinning everything into place, and since I have a zipper, I don't have to leave a gap to flip it. So if you don't have a zipper, you will definitely need to leave a little gap to be able to flip it. I sewed around everything, leaving about 5 to 7 millimeters of space to the edge. After sewing around it, you're gonna have to cut all the corners and all the edges and curves and everything like I'm showing you here, so it will be easier to flip later, that all of the corners will look clean and nice. Then I'm using some fleece line. It's basically some type of fabric glue that will stabilize 2 layers of fabric by gluing them together. I'm not going to use it on the part where the pouch is going to be, since if I glue both sides of fabric together, there won't be a pouch. Now it's finally time to flip the piece right sides out. Then I gotta poke out all the corners with my chopsticks or the back of a pencil or brush or whatever you got. Usually I never iron anything for sewing, but for this project I think it makes a huge difference actually. So the fleece-line will bond the two pieces of fabric together. Now I will secure these edges with a straight stitch. I went over it 2 times. And now it's time to sew the little loop thingy. For the loop I'm just going to fold a fabric insides out, sewing over it once, leaving a long thread so I can pull it through and then flip it right sides out. There are so many ways to sew loops though, so you do it however you want to. And now we're gonna assemble everything. First is flipping up the bottom part and securing it from the outside. Then I will add my well.wastedd tag and the keyring loop to the other side and secure that one from the outside as well. You gotta be very careful because the layers are only getting thicker and thicker. Then we can flip in the side part and secure everything from the outside again. For that step you can just sew around the bottom once or twice like this. We're basically done. Only thing that's missing now is the accessories like the snap button and the keyring and the keychain and all that stuff. Depending on the button that you're using, it's gonna be a different way of attaching it, so you do it with whatever materials you have. You also don't need fancy equipment or a button press. It mostly is possible with a hammer and some other tools. So yeah, theoretically we're completely done, but I'm going to add some more stuff and make this project more complicated. So yeah, stay tuned. It's crazy how much time this took me already, but I really can't seem to make a simple project for once. I always gotta add a bunch of side quests, but that's fine. Tomorrow I'm quickly gonna make some shrinky dink keychains and then we're finally done. Well, so at this point I actually made 10 of these, plus the first one that I think was a pretty big fail because I just wasn't that satisfied with my pattern at first, but well. I also fixed the button on my original one. It also is working again. But still, I will use my new one from now on because I think that's a really big improvement to my first one. I got the 2 most used cards here in the front, and in the back I got some more cards that are not used that frequently, and also my paper money. And I've got a little coin pouch, which the old one doesn't have. So yeah, I think it turned out really cool. I love it, and it also fits absolutely perfectly with my sketchbook pouch that I made in one of my videos as well. So I love it. Depending on the fabric that you're going to be using, the outcomes will be slightly different, but still I will link the pattern for you guys in the description down below, for free of course, or you can screenshot it here somewhere if you want. Also, I drew this step-by-step plan that might be helpful as well, so you can print out the template and get started right away. I actually got the original one at Brandy Melville. Komm rein. At Brandy Melville back then. What? And who could have known that about 10 years later I'd be able to sew my own version of this. I'm really proud of how it turned out, and it has all the functions that I wanted to have without getting too big. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it and maybe you could learn something as well. But yeah, I've rambled enough again. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. This lighting is horrible. You're in the front. Ooh. Oh, these cars.